Welcome to Joe and the Phoenix. I am Ijoma Oputa, but you can just call me Joe. I am the torchbearer of reflection. I help people move from pain and frustration into peace by revealing through mirror portals the limitless self within. The phoenix is a mysterious mythic essence, one that, when consumed by fire, rises in glory from the ashes of the past. It is a perfect metaphor for our guest today, the Alpha Phoenix, one of many brave souls willing to share their experience and journey live, so that you too may burn away your trauma and emerge today with your true resplendence. Hello, Alpha Phoenix. Are you there?
Hello. Yes, I'm here.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Nice to talk to you. This is a very special occasion. And go right ahead for our listeners. What's going on in your life now?
Um, well, it's been over 10 years that I've been in depression and dealing with my whole mental health. And it's been a roller coaster. And I've tried so many different things. And I always keep going back to feeling at one point just down, depressed, there's been moments like I just start going through some crisis and just get stuck in that like in my mind of thinking negative things and then I can't control it at one point when I start overthinking. I just get to a point where my mind is full of negative thoughts or just things from the past and regrets
Hmm.
and just memories that just hurt me.
You see, the strange thing about the mind, and we've discussed this before, is that you have to be able to control what it is you're thinking about because every aspect of your present, past, and future is governed by where your thoughts are today. So, for example, if you keep on thinking about the things that have happened to you that you're upset about, the more you think about them, the more you deliver pain to yourself. So, the solution really here, in my experience, is to first observe silence. I think we've done a silence exercise before, correct?
Yes, but there's moments where I'm just really, really overwhelmed and very depressed that I can't even focus on being silent or being still. So I'm struggling a lot with staying in silence when my mind is full of just negative thoughts.
Yes. That would be the mind's chatter. But let's step back into the past for a minute. And there was a point where you did experience a measure of relief. Am I correct about that?
Repeat that, I'm sorry?
I said there was a point where you did experience some sort of relief. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's been times where when I do start focusing and I do start meditating or just doing exercises that you have advised me to do. I've done them and I start feeling better, and I do them for a couple months or a few months, but then something happens, in life, like everybody else too. Everybody has problems, but
Yes.
when something starts happening or something triggers it, or I hear something from someone else that irritates me, or just it kind of just goes back to my thoughts where it starts, just it starts overwhelming me, and then I just stop doing those exercises because I feel weak even to try to keep going with any exercises. But at the moment when I do focus, it has helped, but just with all the things that are going on, sometimes it takes me off track.
off track. So see, I'm very glad you mentioned that, because what I usually tell my clients and what I'll remind you of right now is this: life is a continuous stream of information. We have positive experiences, we have negative experiences, and everything we have learned, both the good and the bad, come from the information we're exposed to. So, in order for you to remain at peace and to reclaim your true power and be who you are, you have to consistently counter negative information with truth. You see? And the reason why I say that is truth is because any inference you make, any information you get which suggests you are anything other than the amazing, wonderful, beautiful person you are, is a lie. The life we live on earth is a spiritual experience in a physical body. And the reason why our spirits are here is to learn how to face falsehood and counter it with absolute truth. So it's not really much about feeling good today and then not doing anything. You have to, and this is for everybody listening, you have to be able to consistently remind yourself of the glory and the wonder and the beauty that you represent. Because if you do not continuously allow yourself to have this stream of truth, not self elevation, not self deception, but truth, then incessant lies that come to you, and they do come very often, both by the way people think, the way the society is now with so much hatred, the way people disregard each other, where the way there's no love amongst one another, when we all should be one. All these continuous negative elements will chip away at your true powerful identity of self. It's kind of like a filter, or a scale rather, where you have to fortify yourself with truth so that you are at a level so high that when negative things come and you make negative inferences about yourself, which is pretty much what the subconscious mind does from time to time, no matter how far you dip, no matter how far you dip, it will not be so far that you now start to feel miserable. You see, if you do the exercises I gave you, and if you use the mirror portals to reestablish the truth of yourself, and just gain a moment's clarity in how wonderful a person you are, that is not enough. You have to continuously do it so that you fortify yourself with the truth. That way, whenever you come upon any negativity, it won't throw you off balance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want you to wipe your tears. I would want you not to worry. I'm going to put you on a steady stream of self-revealing exercises. And you see, this is the mistake a lot of people make. People think, oh, this guy is just trying to teach us how to lie to ourselves and say we're all this and all that. No, I'm not. I'm trying to reintroduce you to the glorious phoenix that you are. We are burning away the ashes of misconception, and we are reconnecting with the truth of ourselves. That's what's most important. And these are the exercises we will do together. So while we are all blessed to have you on the phone, and I want to thank you once again for sharing these intimate details about yourself, can you give me any specific details on the negative things you've been feeling that make you feel bad from time to time?
Well, there's many of them, but there's the family side, and then just regrets from the past where I gave up my dreams, my career, and it just feels that my dreams just got shattered. A lot of negativity came from the family where I had no support, and and always bringing me down instead of plowing when I accomplish something.
Yeah.
So there has been always like a negativity, and that made myself just wanting to run far, far away from my family.
Well, hold that
Um,
thought for a second, because here you have two factors you've talked about. One, you felt because of something you omitted in the past, your dreams are shattered. And two, you don't have enough support from your family. Family support is good, okay? But we must strengthen ourselves to the degree that whether we have that support or not, we are still so sure of who we are that we move forward and continue to thrive regardless. And once again, this can only occur if you continue to reveal who you truly are with the mirror portals that I showed you. The more you reveal yourself to your conscious being, the more you are able to counter any negative concept of yourself. And that is really important. Now, when it comes to the past, I tell people this and I'll tell you again. There's nothing in the past that can be fixed. Because the truth of the matter is, the past, the present, and the future are all illusions. They all exist in this eternal moment of now. And we, even though we live in a physical body in a three-dimensional world, on a single timeline of the past, present, and future, the truth is we are spiritual beings which transcend the concept of time. And what that means is that not only can we go to the past and readjust the past, but we can also start from where we are and come to terms with our glory and wonder and magnificence and create limitless opportunities in the future. So it doesn't matter if you've lost an opportunity in the past. Forget the common saying that, oh, you only have one or two choices in your life. No, the world ahead of you has infinite possibilities. It's up to you to choose how grand those possibilities are. It's really a matter of selection. So you have to understand that, yes, you may have missed some stuff in the past, but you can make corrections in the past. And I'm going to also develop a program for you so we can go step by step and look at what it is specifically you feel you missed in the past. And I can suggest the corrections you can make in the past, which you will feel in the present and future. But my priority, and it is my priority for everyone out there too, you must come to terms with how wonderful you are. External validation and family support is wonderful, but your strength and concept of self must be so in tune with who you really are that even that is not necessary for you to be the glorious person you are and for you to achieve whatever it is you want, regardless of public opinion. Does that make any sense to you?
yeah, and I feel that before I didn't care about people's like, opinion. I mean, it hurt me and it would like bother me, like when
Mm-hmm.
I would hear family members or, saying negative things. But and I had so much like faith in myself that,
Yes.
and faith in God that I knew that I could do anything. So I was the most positive person. I mean, I'm still a positive person, but
Yeah.
when my negative thoughts come, like it starts, it makes just my whole world negative or feel negative.
Yeah.
So when my family would put me down, as when I was younger, I feel like I had the strength of like, oh, like just brush it off my shoulders
Yes.
and say, okay, whatever, I know who I am. I know I'm gonna make it. I know I'm gonna, you know, going to be famous one day or do a movie or whatever my my thoughts at the moment were as far as my dreams.
Yes.
And even though I heard negativity and saying you're never gonna make it and hear all those lies, I was still strong, and I just thought that I was the best, and I was just thriving and doing so much in my life, and I was so happy and just getting so much done, and that all that didn't bother me. So you're right, like support is great, but even if you don't have it and you're going through that, and if you believe in yourself, like you're gonna be strong and you're gonna keep going. But I think with time, with so many years of my life and being surrounded with that negativity,
That's okay. That's okay. Let it
I
out.
really broke me apart, and it was just hard. Where like
That's okay.
you're trying to keep going and going, and you're so like positive in your life, and you're trying to be positive, but then every step you make, they just stomp all over you, or someone just says something.
Yes.
So with many years, of my life growing up, and now I'm 44, but getting close to my 30s, I started feeling just so much rejection from family as far as, my goals and my dreams. And little by little, I started losing that faith in me. So it got to the point that it was just so much, and I was so overwhelmed that at one point I fell and I just couldn't get up anymore, because I didn't have anyone to extend a hand and help me pick myself back up.
Yes.
So it's just been the hardest.
I understand that pain. And it all boils down to you reinforcing yourself with the truth. You see, the problem many people have, and when I was a teenager, I had the same problem myself. I want you to wipe your tears, and don't worry. The solution for this is really, really simple. You see, to understand what happened to you, you have to understand the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind makes inferences regardless of your logical assessment of any situation. Okay? Now, if the subconscious mind is incessantly faced with negative situations that suggest you're not what you want to be, it will continue to make those inferences regardless of what you not logically know to be true. And when you don't have any countering information that suggests otherwise, the subconscious mind will continue to latch on to those negative situations as proof that yes, this defines you. And it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and the more you feel bad about it, remember, reality is created by your thoughts and your feelings. So now here you are in a situation, you've had a lot of negativity piled upon you, suggesting that you're not the wonderful being you really are. You have family who you've relied on all your life to be supportive, who are instead being negative as well. Without any countering information, the subconscious mind will accept those as true and continue to make you miserable. And it gets so deep and so dark that it tears you apart inside, especially when there's nothing else countering it. And unfortunately for most people, they feel that, oh, if I just stand up and grab myself by the bootstraps and tell myself that I can be anything, that I could do anything, that is not enough. Because subconscious is not just going to take your word for it. You have to use the leverage of mirror portals to reorient yourself with the truth that you really are through the power of observation and not necessarily just the power of suggestion. And when you use the power of observation to counter the misconceptions and the lies that you are inferring from negative experiences, that balances it. And then when you are consistent, like I said you should be, it gets to a stage that you have so much positive counter information that no negative occurrence can bring you down again. When was the last time you did a meditation or any of the meditations that I gave you to do when you were feeling better? How long ago was that?
um, months ago. I There's moments that I'm in my high horse and I'm feeling great, and I start meditating. And then once something gets triggered in my life, I just kind of stop. So I did stop. Probably in the past 8 months or so, I haven't done it. I literally this morning, I tried doing it for a few minutes, and I felt a little bit more calm this morning.
That's good.
And just I did have a very, very rough week where I just some changes in my life and stuff like that just kind of brought me through like just thoughts again, and then I started just going through literally some crisis at that moment. I felt like the world was going to end, and my mind was just full of all these thoughts, and I got so overwhelmed, and that was a few days ago. But now this morning I said, okay, I need to start doing my meditation again, my prayers, my exercises and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been more than 8 months that I haven't been able to focus or concentrate or follow my routines.
Let me tell you something. Believe it or not, even when you're really feeling good, and when you get to a stage that you will feel good, because you will feel good, that's the easiest thing, and don't you worry about it. We're going to work on that. But even in your best moments, it is difficult for you to realize that there are some things that you are observing that the subconscious mind is making inferences that you're not all that, you see. And those are lies that you have to be aware are happening all the time. For example, it could even be as simple as you walking on the street and somebody bumping into you and not even saying sorry. Simple little things like that take slight chips out of your concept of self. And if you do not continually reinforce yourself with the truth of who you are, it builds up, and it has a cumulative effect on what you think of yourself. And then all of a sudden, right out of the blue, your deficit of your knowledge of how great you truly are becomes so depleted that you are knocked off balance. Which is why it is very important for you and everybody out there. I even do it myself. You must meditate every single day. You must fight darkness with the light you are. Because this experience that we as spiritual beings have chosen to have as human beings is a fight between light and darkness. And if you allow darkness to go unabated and uncountered, you will be deceived into believing a lie about yourself. So it is imperative and important that you do the exercises I give you. And this applies to all of you listening. There are exercises you must do to remind yourself of who you really are. You've heard in the Bible that the truth will set you free. You must expose yourself to the truth every day to counter the lies and the illusion of this three-dimensional reality. I want to thank you very much for sharing this information with me. Is there anything else that has been bothering you before I now suggest the meditations we will do to counter these things?
There's a lot, but we can start off with this. But
okay.
It will not be an ending story.
And that's really good.
We have so much.
And that's very good. And I want everybody listening to this to realize that the negative inferences your subconscious make are never ending. If you really knew how wonderful and powerful you are, you will understand that nothing can stop you in any shape, fashion, or form. If you knew how beautiful and amazing your spirit is, you would be so scared to be with yourself in a room by yourself. That's how great we all are. So the exercises we're going to do is number one. We're going to automatically... go ahead.
Before we move on,
Mhm.
you did say something earlier that I do believe. You mentioned that we are our thoughts.
Yes.
We become our thoughts. And I truly, truly believe that, because when my thoughts start, getting negative, I just feel the worst, and I feel so like ugly, and I feel that I haven't accomplished anything, and I feel just the worst. And
I understand.
when I do have the right mind, or I have the right thoughts, and because I do go through a roller coaster.
Hmm.
There's a day where I'm going through some crisis, and then the next day I'm just completely fine, and then I just, you know, um, something great probably happens that I'm like, oh, I remind myself, like, you know what, I am, great. I am,
Yes.
I start thinking more the positive side. And then I do believe, and I start believing it. And
Hmm.
then I start feeling like beautiful again. And then I, get ready, and I'm like, wow, I'm not so bad. Or, just
Yeah.
the right, thoughts start coming back. And then I get my strength from feeling better,
Yes.
and having the right thoughts. So it's right. It's true. Like, you are your thoughts. You are, what you believe in your what you believe of yourself.
That is correct. And what's
Yeah.
most important is that you have to make sure you don't get a deficit of that exposure to truth, because that's what creates the dark moments. A lot of people don't realize this. Instead, they run to doctors and get prescribed with medication without addressing this foundation situation. You see, think about it like a bank account, for example. Let's say your bank account has $1 million in it. If a negative deficit comes in and takes away $100 or $50 or $90 or $100,000 from a really big insult on who you really are, it's not going to affect you because you have $1 million in the account. But if you allow yourself to not remind yourself, rather, of how rich you are spiritually, you now attach yourself to the concept that your bank account of the quality of who you are, this analogical example of a bank account, would now, say, for example, have just $100 in it. Now, if that same bank account we described, the analogy we created, if that same bank account had just $100 in it, then if a situation that creates a $200 deficit of negativity hits you, you're going to feel like your world is ended because you're going to be negative. It's going to go below zero, and you feel below zero. And when the mind feels below zero, that's when trauma, depression, sorrow, the whole world seems like it's falling apart. That's what you feel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
that's really just simply the fact that you have not fortified your concept of self with the wealth and abundance that you really are inherently. So the truth of or rather what we need to do, the exercises we need to develop, are the exercises that will fill that void of misconceptions with over $1 trillion of absolute truth. Because the truth is, if you took away all the illusions of the world we're living in, and you're aware of the fact of who you really are, you will find that you have within yourself the abundance of God. And that abundance is more than $1 billion trillion in every shape, fashion, or form or concept. And when you have that knowledge of that power that is in you, you can afford to have people say negative things to you. You can afford to have people disrespect you. You can afford to have situations that basically suggests you are not all that, because deep down inside you already know that, hey, you are all that, and everybody else and everything else and every circumstance can kiss your expletives. Okay, so I
Yeah.
don't want you to worry. The first exercise we're going to do is we're going to develop a program where whenever any of these negative thoughts come in, your mind, your subconscious mind will automatically be silent. In other words, whenever your subconscious mind is about to attach to a lie, we will train it to instead be silent. Okay? That's the first thing we're going to do. The next thing we will do is we are going to create a bunch of programs that will, through the mirror portals, reintroduce you to the glorious, wonderful person that you are, so that you can transition from the pawn you think you are on the chessboard of life to the queen that you really are. Okay? So I'm going to develop these programs for you. And in our next episode, we're going to see and discuss and figure out whether you've experienced any improvement so that you and our listeners can, moving forward, can take advantage of these new concepts that we have to offer. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes.
Okay, super awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this really intimate stuff with us. And once again, viewers, this is Joe and the Phoenix. And this is the Alpha Phoenix. She is here sharing and bearing her soul so that you too can understand what it is, the mechanics of the mind and subconscious mind as we move forward to bring peace and joy in our lives. Peace and blessings.